Marvel's Doctor Strange has proven to be one of the better franchises in the comic book realm, but the mysterious Doctor can't take all the credit for this. There's also Clea, who's so good at what she does that many fans believe she and Strange are equals. Well, Marvel has now confirmed the differences between Doctor Strange and Clea as Sorcerer Supreme, and I'll tell you all about it in this video. What you need to know: Marvel has confirmed that Clea, the new Sorcerer Supreme, is significantly different from Doctor Strange. Fans have wondered how Clea's reign as Earth's Sorcerer Supreme compares to that of Doctor Strange ever since Clea succeeded Strange in the role. Clea's more brutal ways have led many to label her with a more adult rating than Strange, and as the reigning Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, she is accustomed to looking at the shadows for answers. The distinction between the two is now clear, and it sheds light on their personalities in interesting ways. It's more important to understand who Strange and Clea are as people to fully appreciate Doom Supreme Sorcerer trophies. The revelation that Doom Supreme is picking trophies from Strange and Clea is intriguing. The most blatant example is when Doom decided to seize Strange's hands. His hands have always been central to his narrative, and after a vehicle accident rendered him unable to practice his wizardry, his backstory centers on his search for a mystical cure for their injuries. However, it also symbolizes his strategy for defeating his most formidable adversaries. Strange is extremely tactical, considering all angles before acting. With this in mind, he is better suited to consider the consequences of his actions, which strengthens his moral compass. Also because of this, he has been willing to make temporary peace for the greater good with people like Dr. Doom during the Secret Wars. However, things are very different when it comes to Clea. By saying he takes her heart when he overcomes one of her versions, Doom is alluding to the fact that she prioritizes her emotions over logic. In Strange #1, her debut issue as Marvel's new Sorcerer Supreme, she displays this quality to great effect. She wastes no time in executing members of the anti-magic blasphemy cartel after they launch a bloodbath at the Shrouded Bazaar. And as these nameless nobodies are ripped to shreds, we are treated to some of the most horrifying and repulsive scenes ever depicted in a Doctor Strange movie. Clea was the niece of the terrible Dormammu and a former Sorcerer Supreme from the Dark Dimension, and because of her upbringing, she often responds with violence, and Doom's choice of her heart as his prize is essential because it represents her emotional approach to combat. Steven and Clea are not as identical as many imagine, as evident by Doom's trophy selections from each Sorcerer Supreme. Though they have the same job title, they are not the same people. Each has their own ideas about how things should be done, and a different amount of authority. It's a fantastic method for Marvel to provide readers with a deep knowledge of two of the most important characters in the Marvel Universe's magical realm, Doctor Strange and Clea, while also showing readers how they vary. How powerful is Clea compared to Doctor Strange? Clea was introduced to the Marvel Cinematic Universe by Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but how potent is this new sorcerer compared to the original? Although she eventually became Strange's love interest in the comics, Clea's introduction to the MCU is a major plot point change because it adds another sorcerer to a universe already ripe with superhumans. Clea's introduction in the post-credits scene of Doctor Strange 2 suggests that the sorceress would play a leading role in a future installment, but if Wanda's character arc is anything to go by, then the two sorcerers may be comparing power sooner than expected. Doctor Strange 2 is the first Marvel Cinematic Universe film to ostensibly explore the darker side of the multiverse through Wanda's abuse of it and Strange's own misuse of it. When Strange and America Chavez visit Reality 838, Mordo warns them that frequent dream walking across worlds can cause an incursion event in which one universe collides with another. Meeting the Illuminati of this universe, Professor X explains to Strange that his 838 variant caused an incursion event and had to be neutralized by Black Bolt's deadly voice. At the end of Doctor Strange 2, Clea is introduced in response to this impending invasion, and since she is willing to assist Strange in correcting his variant's errors, the sorceress presumably knows more about the multiverse than Strange does. With only a cameo to her credit in the MCU, Clea's true power level is still unknown. However, looking over the character's history in the comics may provide some light on whether or not she is stronger than Doctor Strange. How Clea's abilities in the Marvel comics work. Clea is certainly a strong entity in the Marvel Universe, as she She is Dormammu's niece. Connection to the Dark Dimension's ruler suggests future ties between Strange and Dormammu, and alludes to the sorceress's strong base powers. Clea's natural talent for controlling the potent flames of Faltine, a spell that draws on the strength of extraterrestrial beings to generate fire, and her connection to the Faltine and the Dark Dimension give her access to other, more conventional abilities, including flying and transportation. In the comics, this is where Clea begins her studies with Doctor Strange in the mystical arts. As a result of her training, the sorceress can now perform several of the feats commonly associated with Strange, like casting spells, creating shields, and firing bolts of energy. Clea uses her inherent abilities and knowledge of the mystical arts to bring the Silver Surfer's female counterpart, Ardina, to life in the Marvel Comics. Clea, the newest sorcerer in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is both a powerful ally and occasional foe of Doctor Strange thanks to her heritage and extensive magical training. Is Clea stronger than Doctor Strange? Clea and Stephen Strange are relatively equal in terms of power. One may argue that Clea's limits are set by the fact that Strange is one who taught her the mystic arts and not some external force. But even if her magical abilities don't surpass Strange's, her natural powers may give her an advantage in a potential bout between the two. She comes with a powerful family with ties to the Dark Dimension and the Faltine. Whether or not Clea will have the same abilities in the MCU as she does in the comics is what we can't say at this time. In the middle of the credits of Doctor Strange 2, the sorceress uses a mystical blade to open a portal to the Dark Dimension, proving that she is immune to the universe-wide seal that Strange forged in the film's conclusion. Since Clea in the MCU can visit the Dark Dimension and Universe 616 without resorting to dreamwalking or without assistance from a being with American Chavez's abilities, she clearly possesses abilities that Strange has not yet mastered. What Clea's future position is in the MCU, if any at all, remains to be seen, but her comic book skills could make her a powerful ally to the Wizard. Multi-storylines, including those involving Stephen's potential deadliest enemy and his love interest, are available in the franchise thanks to the source material. After the events of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, one thing is certain: the Marvel Cinematic Universe's roster of mystic arts masters is rapidly expanding. Clea's return to Doctor Strange 2 sets up a villain more powerful than Thanos. Stephen Strange learned a lot in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, including meeting Clea and the return of a villain more powerful than Thanos. Doctor Strange fought the Scarlet Witch and his other doppelgangers from across the multiverse throughout the film and ultimately prevailed. Of course, his actions had repercussions. Doctor Strange's world became more perilous and the MCU more exciting with the appearance of the mysterious Clea in the post-credits scene, as she will herald the return of Doctor Strange's most dangerous foe. The Scarlet Witch threatened American Chavez, and Doctor Strange had to go to the ends of the universe to stop her. The film's post-credits scene occurred after he had returned to Earth 616, and America had been secured within the Kamar Taj. It featured a mysterious woman emerging from a portal from the Dark Dimension. The nameless woman from the end credits of Doctor Strange 2 is Clea, and she came to tell Strange that he had caused an incursion and needed to help fix it before many worlds were destroyed. Doctor Strange, his third eye now fully open, pursued Clea into the Dark Dimension. Since Clea has ties to Doctor Strange, Dormammu, and the Dark Dimension, the post-credits scene for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness hinted that Dormammu would be returning to the MCU. Thanos has been portrayed as the most menacing enemy up to Avengers Endgame, and by destroying the heroes of the MCU more than any other villain before him, Thanos proved himself to be the most powerful villain of them all. The introduction of Clea, however, suggests that the MCU will continue exploring Dormammu and the Dark Dimension. Dormammu could surpass Thanos in strength if his potential in the MCU is fully realized, as it is in the Marvel Comics. How powerful is Dormammu? As the ruler of the Dark Dimension and a master of interdimensional magic, Dormammu has no need for Thanos' Infinity Stones. He has the power to manipulate matter, teleport, and resurrect the dead in the comics. Dormammu has given zealots like Kikalius, who have caused incredible damage in the comics and the MCU, dangerous amounts of power. And as an added bonus, he is a pure being of mystical energy who successfully killed Doctor Strange. Thanks to the power of the Time Stone, Doctor Strange was able to use a time loop to defeat Dormammu and avoid death while negotiating the safety of Earth 616. But Dormammu Dormammu has consistently demonstrated in Marvel media that he is essentially unbeatable in combat and thus can only be negotiated with or avoided. Since the Time Stone has been destroyed in Avengers Endgame, Doctor Strange will need to find a new tactical advantage in order to defeat Dormammu. So guys, who do you think is the most powerful Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange or Clea? Let us have your thoughts in the comment section. And if you enjoyed watching this video, kindly give it a like and share so your buddies can watch it too. Last but certainly not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tap the notification bell to keep getting more interesting content like this. Thanks for watching.